Hello everyone, my name is Elena Davis, and I'm a wildlife biologist for Quail Forever, stationed in the Texas Panhandle. This study aims to identify the best locations for scaled quail and northern bobwhite quail using GIS technology. Utilizing GIS technology, this study identified areas of habitat most suitable for quail populations based on the following criteria: the presence of grassland habitat with shrubby cover, the presence of edge cropland habitat, and a proximity of 2,500 feet to water. Areas identified by this study were compared to sighting data to identify suitable areas with no known quail populations. By identifying these suitable areas, on-site surveys can be conducted to provide a more accurate estimate of quail populations in the Texas Panhandle. The Texas Panhandle region is home to two species of quail, the scaled quail and the northern bobwhite. These species have similar habitat needs. Therefore, this study focuses on a single set of criteria for both species. Quail require a heterogeneous landscape consisting of disturbed areas of open grassland with significant amounts of herbaceous vegetation. In the Texas Panhandle region, quail prefer mixed habitats of grassland, cropland, and brushy areas with adequate cover from predators. The areas where grassland and cropland habitats come together are identified as edges and provide for movement needs of quail species. Grassland provides warm season breeding and foraging habitat, while cropland provides winter forage and cover. A minimum of 40 acres of adequate habitat is needed to support a sustainable population of quail. A permanent water source isn't required, but is preferred by quail species. As such, the presence of water was given a weighted ranking for this study. Research has shown a 1.8% decline in northern bobwhite populations in Texas between 1966 and 2015. In order to reverse this trend and provide adequate protections, this study aims to identify the most suitable regions for quail habitat in the Texas Panhandle region using GIS technology. Layers containing necessary criteria were imported into ArcGIS Pro 3.0 before being clipped to the Texas Panhandle region and reprojected to the WGS 1984 coordinate system. The land cover database layer provided the location of grassland and shrubland areas in the Panhandle. This data was reclassified to suitable or unsuitable based on the following criteria: grassland habitat present, medium vegetation shrubland present. Grassland was weighted as most suitable, shrubland as medium suitability, and all other land cover types classified as unsuitable. USDA cropland layer specified seasonal money crop, but did not provide information for cover crops, food plots, or seasonal variations in the growth season. For this reason, the layer was reclassified to reflect all crop types into one general category, cultivated crops. Texas Department of Transportation waterways layer was added, and only attributes for major sources of water were retained for this study. These sources of water are present and available during current drought conditions. A buffer of 2,500 feet was added to each water source based on sighting data provided by eBird to determine an ideal zone for quail species. Raster layers containing grassland and cropland information were converted to polygons before conducting overlay analysis. All areas containing fewer than 40 acres were eliminated. A pairwise intersect analysis was conducted to identify edge habitat, the areas where grassland and cropland meet. Edge habitat was assigned a weighted ranking for final analysis. A weighted sum analysis was performed with the following rankings: grassland present 0.2, cropland edge present 0.3, permanent water present 0.5. Areas shown in darkest green were determined to be the most suitable habitat for quail in the Texas Panhandle based on the criteria selected for this study. Having identified the areas most suitable, the model can be compared to known populations before on-site analysis takes place. An interactive map of the suitability model was placed here. Sighting can be clicked to see which type of quail was present, how many, the location and the date. Waterways are also clickable. This map depicts sighting data provided by eBird covering the last 5 years for both species of quail as compared to the suitability model. This study identifies highly suitable habitats with no known quail populations on record. Surveys could be conducted in these areas, and if quail are found, provide a more accurate population estimate of quail in the Texas Panhandle. Habitats deemed suitable by this model, but without recorded sightings, might lack the diversity of vegetation needed. Therefore, the habitat should be assessed on-site for true suitability and proposals drafted to improve the habitat. Outreach programs could be designed to reach landowners in these areas to encourage enrollment in federal Farm Bill programs, such as the Conservation Reserve Program. In the Panhandle region, this program protects hundreds of thousands of acres of grassland, which has the potential to support large populations of quail. Though permanent flowing water is not a necessity for quail, its presence increases their preference for an area. Under current drought conditions, quail sightings trend shows a slow movement toward areas of permanent water. eBird's sighting data also records quail sightings in area that this analysis determined to be unsuitable for quail. One possible explanation for this is the presence of underground water sources. There were 202 of a total 984 scaled quail sightings and 851 of a total 2,610 northern bobwhite sightings were made within 2,500 feet of an existing well. The presence of permanent water from the wells could make a habitat more suitable than this model has predicted. By focusing conservation efforts on private landowners with highly suitable habitat as identified in the model, and those with permanent sources of water, be it natural or an underground well, there is potential to conserve far more habitat for quail. Efforts should be taken to survey these lands for the presence of quail and to provide protections to existing populations, as well as identifying areas for possible release of captive bred quail or areas where existing populations could expand.